Today we have such a special episode as we're making another dish from my mother's recipe box, and one that I keep very close to my heart as I ate it growing up and still enjoy it today as an adult because it truly is comfort food at its best. We're talking my mother's garlic rice with fish. And let me tell you, this rice dish is filled with simple and honest flavors. It is absolutely easy to make, and it's all done in about 30 minutes. Folks, this is the perfect rice dish for a busy weeknight, or even for a relaxed weekend lunch next to a bottle of Spanish wine. Either way, it is the kind of food that with each spoonful, it's gonna fill your body with so much goodness. This video is sponsored by Tienda.com. You know that Tienda is an online superstore focusing on selling all things Spain for your home and kitchen, and they've been around since 1996. And like I always tell you, they have the biggest selection of artisan Spanish ingredients like queso manchego, the famous jamón serrano and jamón ibérico, Marcona almonds, olives, the beautiful canned seafood from Spain, and all the spices you need to make all your favorite Spanish recipes, among so many other great ingredients. And let me tell you, when it comes to cookware, they have an amazing selection of authentic Spanish paella pans that range in size from 2 servings all the way up to 50 servings, and they even offer classic grilling systems that way you can always perfectly cook your paella. Folks, visit Tienda.com, let them know Albert from Spain on a Fork sent you there, and make sure to use coupon code on a Fork during checkout for 10% off your order. Let's begin by adding in 4 cups of vegetable broth into a saucepan, which is 960 milliliters. Of course, you can also use water to make this rice dish, but by using the broth, it gives it a bigger depth of flavors. Link on how to make my homemade veggie broth in the description box below. And we'll heat it with a medium heat. At the same time, I'm going to heat a large fry pan with a medium heat as well, and add in 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, which is 45 milliliters. While the oil is heating, I'm going to remove the skins from 8 cloves of garlic, and then thinly slice each clove. Then we'll add the sliced garlic into the pan with a hot olive oil, and we'll mix it around, that way all the garlic is coated in the olive oil. And since we cut the garlic into larger chunks, you don't have to mix this continuously, but do get under every 30 seconds or so, that way it all evenly sautés. After about 4 to 5 minutes, and the sliced garlic is lightly browned and it's nice and fragrant, it's time to add in the rice. For this recipe, I'm using Spanish bomba rice, which is the one that's used to make paella, very similar to Italian arborio rice. I'm going to measure out 1 cup, which is about 180 grams, and add it into the pan with the garlic. Link where you can get this rice in the description box below. Then we'll season the rice with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll mix the rice around continuously with the garlic and go for about 2 to 3 minutes here. And let me tell you, by taking this step and cooking the rice before you add the broth in there, it's going to make it nice and fragrant, which at the end gives this dish a beautiful lift of goodness. After dry cooking the rice for 2 to 3 minutes and it's nice and fragrant, we'll grab the simmering vegetable broth and gently add it into the pan. And we'll give it a mix, that way everything's well mixed together. And unlike a paella, where you don't mix the rice again after you add it, for this dish, you want to get in there every 2 to 3 minutes and mix that rice around, as it's going to help release the starch in the rice, and at the end it gives this dish a beautiful, slightly creamy texture. In the meantime, let's start getting our fish ready. I'm going to add in 2 cod fillets over some paper towels and pat them completely dry. The size of each fillet is 8 ounces, which is about 250 grams. And I did buy the cod frozen and thawed it out beforehand, but you can also use fresh cod here, as well as any other type of firm white fish. Then we'll season the fillets with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper, and you just have to do this on one side. And then we'll cut each fillet into bite-sized pieces. They're about 1 inch thick, which is 2.5 centimeters. Alright, let's move back to the rice. It's been about 12 minutes since we added the broth in there, and as you can see, a lot of that broth has been absorbed by the rice, but there's still plenty of liquid left. At this point, I'm going to add in the pieces of cod into the pan, making sure they're all in a single layer and evenly spaced out. Then we'll place a lid on the pan and lower the fire to a low-medium heat and simmer this for another 3 to 5 minutes or until that rice and fish are perfectly cooked through. Of course, if you're using a different type of rice here, it might take you less or longer to cook that rice. So you just add the fish in there when you have about 3 to 5 minutes left for the rice to be perfectly cooked. Once the rice and fish are fully cooked through, this dish is ready to go. I'm going to remove the pan from the heat and transfer some of the rice into a serving dish. And garnish with some fresh parsley. Check it out, my mother's garlic rice and fish. Super easy to make, just a handful of ingredients, and once again the kind of food that's gonna fill your body with so much goodness. Let's give it a try and see how it turned out. Seriously folks, look how beautiful this rice dish turned out. This I can't wait to try. Here we go. It's still piping hot. Look at that. You know, I've had this rice so many times in my life, and every time I eat it, it surprises me at how good it is because it's made with simple ingredients and effortless to put together. The secret here is that garlic. You want to lightly brown it just to the point before it gets bitter, as it gives the rice the most incredible pop of garlic goodness. Serve this next to a crunchy baguette and a garden salad. You're going to have yourself a healthy and delicious meal. Really quick before I go, a shout out to a couple of my patrons, Lars Lackman, Barry M. Markovich, Michael Macaulay, and Ronald Kemp. And guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Leave me a comment below. And as always, don't forget to share this video with your family and friends. That way our Spain on a Fork community can continue to grow. Till the next time, hasta luego. Y muchas gracias a mi madre por este gran plato. No está para chuparse los dedos. Hasta luego.